Am I the butthole for telling my wife that I don't have to speak to our daughter until I feel comfortable? Found out a couple days ago that our daughter, 17F, is pregnant. I was so angry that I just went numb and walked away. I've never been so disappointed in my life. We used to be super close, but I don't even talk to her anymore. Today my daughter came over to me while I was watching TV and asked if we were still watching the Super Bowl together. I was going to ignore her, but I told her, "This is the last time I'm speaking to you because obviously everything I've been telling you over the years just goes in one ear and out the other. I've never been so disappointed in my life. I told you about safe sex, condoms, birth control. On top of that, you betrayed my trust. You used to tell me everything. I argued with your mother all those times about letting you go to your boyfriend's house because I thought you were responsible and that you would come to me if anything happened. But I was wrong. So from now on, don't talk to me ever again. Anything you want to talk to me about, go tell your mother and have her pass it on to me." Later, my wife comes into my den and asks what happened. I told her to ask her daughter. She said she did, but she couldn't understand her because she was crying so much. I told her what I had said, and she got upset and said that I have to talk to her. I told her no, I already did. And I'm not talking to her again until I feel comfortable, and I don't know when that might be. Maybe never. Our daughter told us she was pregnant not last Friday, but the Friday before that. Like I said, I haven't been speaking to my daughter since then, but my wife used to tell me what was going on until I told her to stop. What I've been told, small black square, the boyfriend wants to be a part of my daughter's life and raise the baby, small black square, his family is supportive, small black square, my daughter and her boyfriend were practicing safe sex and using condoms, but he ran out one day and they decided to use the pull-out method. And that's when I told my wife I didn't want to hear anymore. You're the butthole, I tell you why, but I'm not talking to you. Edit, I will talk to all of the rest of you to say damn, thanks. Lamau. Seriously though, the original poster is definitely the butthole, an abusive butthole at that. Becoming pregnant at an unexpectedly young age is not a moral failing. This isn't 1950, and the original poster has no right to degrade or abuse his daughter in such a disgraceful way at a time when she is clearly feeling vulnerable. People have sex, including teens on the brink of adulthood. That's how life works. Sex is a normal part of being a human, and sometimes that sex accidentally results in little humans. Sometimes biological reality asserts itself. A real parent would be proud of the daughter handling the adult choices she's having to make, and supportive of her going through the struggles an unexpected pregnancy as a teen necessitates. It's admirable the daughter and her partner are stepping up like adults, unlike the op, who seems to be resorting to childish silent treatments. The daughter here is well within her rights never to speak to the original poster again, after such a callous display of narcissism, judgment and cruelty. Edit, dear faux Christians DMing me nonsense vilifying the daughter and determining I am somehow, by extension, obviously a slut. I really find your ability to be simultaneously desperate for women not to have abortions, yet also desperate to shame them for choosing to keep their babies, incredibly cringeworthy. Please don't bother quoting religious texts at me, as you clearly lack the comprehension to understand them. I'm embarrassed for you, and I'm pretty damn sure Jesus would think you're dickheads. Whilst I agree with most of your post, it wasn't a mistake that she has sex without using contraception. That's a choice, and it's a choice that she obviously knew could result in a human, also, not an accident. She rolled the dice and lost. I didn't say it wasn't a mistake. I said it wasn't a moral failing, and it's certainly not one worthy of the abuse the original poster is now objecting their daughter to. Op didn't question her morals. He said he was disappointed in her irresponsibility. He does know that when two young, fertile people have sex even using contraception, they can get pregnant anyway? My friend was on the pill and her boyfriend always used condoms, and the result of their responsible behavior is now a primary school teacher herself and getting married next year. My other friend had to have an abortion after she got pregnant on the pill/condom combination. She was devastated. My other friend has 2 mini pill babies. One of them passed their driving test last week. My kid's former childminder had her tubes tied after baby number 3, had an ectopic pregnancy straight afterwards, nearly died, had that tube removed completely, was told it was a freak occurrence, and the procedure rarely failed, but was pregnant again within 2 months. That baby is now 16. Life, finds a way. So yes, your kid was irresponsible. But she could have done everything right and still found herself in this position. You don't need to punish her for it. Except they decided to try pulling out and it didn't quite work, did it? I've had a couple of long-term girlfriends, starting at age 17, and if we ran out of condoms, we'd cuddle and watch a movie, simply because neither me nor the girl would like it if she got pregnant. It was a matter of choice. Using contraceptives and still getting pregnant is, from my research on Google, a 2% chance. That's incredibly low. In my mind 2% is an incredibly high risk, not low. Probably because the idea of ever getting pregnant is an absolute nightmare for me. Good thing accidental pregnancy is impossible for me now. I'm proud that my kid made a gamble that resulted in a 20-year lasting impact that also indirectly affects their life in a most likely negative manner, or one that may drain my own resources for the previously mentioned timetable. I get that you want to give the kids props for at least owning up to it and all that, but that's more or less what you're saying is admirable. Is original poster overreacting or being otherwise unreasonable? Maybe, but read what you said again and tell me if I'm wrong or not. Op doesn't have to say congratulations, but they can talk to her about what to do about it instead of being a jerk. People are telling on themselves all over this thread. It's so effed up that so many people equate the bare minimum of love and support as celebrating a teenage pregnancy, because you should totally stonewall and isolate the people who do things you don't agree with, right? I guess many of these are products of emotionally abusive households. It's a mess. I wouldn't be proud, but I'm not abandoning my child, full stop. This is the difference between my mother and my father. My mother always dished out verbal and emotional abuse whenever she didn't like a decision I made. My father always said his piece and said he will be there for me for any decision I make. Guess who I had a better relationship with? This exactly. It's one thing to say I love you, but I'm upset and need time to process this, and quite another to get this. Op isn't upset with his daughter because she had sex. He is upset because he has had many conversations about safe sex that she chose to ignore when it was inconvenient, knowing what could happen. He trusted her to have sex safely. Sure, he is a little harsh right now because he feels like she betrayed his trust, and he's angry because this will have a huge impact on their lives forever. If he were to never talk to her again, which I doubt, he would be the butthole, but I think it is reasonable to ask for some space when he is so upset. To suggest that he be proud of her for making an adult decision is beyond ridiculous, especially when it was such an impulsive decision that will have lasting effects. I hope he can come around because she will need his love and support, but I think it is completely reasonable to feel that she betrayed his trust and feel angry. Op didn't ask for some space, he told his daughter, "Don't talk to me ever again." How you say things matters, even if you are, understandably, upset. I vote you're the butthole because of the way he said it. He is the adult, he doesn't have to be happy, but he needs to be level-headed and communicate properly with his daughter, who is in a very difficult position. Sure, it's of her own making, but we're beyond that point now. Deal with the situation at hand. If he does need some time to process, still, be honest about that, but to say something like "don't talk to me again" is needlessly hurtful and a childish way of taking out his anger on his daughter. And by adult decision they were talking about the decision to deal with the situation after she was already pregnant, not the initial decision to have sex at the risk of getting pregnant. The daughter made a life-altering error in judgment. If ever she needed wise parental advice and support, this is the time. It is not the time to turn their backs and make it all about their hurt feelings. Edit to add "you're the butthole." Jumping on this to say that 1, you're the butthole, and 2, you may have talked to her about safe sex and birth control, but did you or your wife set an appointment with a gyno to get her on any sort of birth control? You knew she had a boyfriend, knew they were potentially sexually active, but only had a talk with her. At 17 she is still your responsibility, covered under your insurance. Had you played a more active role beyond talking, this may have been prevented. She made a decision that resulted in a consequence, but she and her boyfriend are stepping up and being responsible about it. The way you're treating her is abhorrent. Expect that once she's able to care for herself and her child, for you to not see them anymore. Edit. Thanks for the awards, everyone. Exactly. Condoms break even when you do use them. They are fine as a backup but a terrible primary method of birth control. Op should have had his daughter go to a gyno for some actual birth control. You're the butthole. I don't know what original poster thinks the silent treatment is going to do. Make her not pregnant? What happens if she loses the baby? Should she not talk to him then too? Being a parent goes beyond talking to them. She is about to be a parent soon and he's not really modeling great parenting skills. You're the butthole. I think she's supposed to grovel for his forgiveness. Yep. I know this kind of dad. I love how he said I thought she was responsible and would come to me if anything happened, and then she did, and he in real life blocked her. You're the butthole. Exactly this. She came to him and he cut her out of his life. You used to tell me everything. You berate your daughter for sharing something really important with you. You destroy her for it. You wonder why you aren't close anymore. Think of the impossible standards you've set for her. How about holding yourself accountable for a change? You're the butthole. Edit. This comment was posted before original poster added his edits. I want to clarify that I was not referring to teen pregnancy or birth control methods. Original poster still the regardless. Edit 2. Some of y'all don't get it. The impossible standard is the daughter being able to talk to original poster and trust him. What are these impossible standards, lol? I thought you were responsible and that you would come to me if anything happened. The impossible standard is getting angry and abandoning her for not coming to him when something happened after she came to him when something happened. This right here. I'd almost guarantee that this isn't the first time he's blown up at her when she came to him. I'm sure she didn't start pulling away from him randomly and for no reason at all. Apparently don't get knocked up at 17 is one of them. Laughing my butt off. You're the butthole. Wow, so you are outsourcing your parenting duties to the good old-fashioned silent treatment, eh? Guess what? Accidents happen. And unless you had a steady supply of condoms/made birth control available to your daughter, then I'm not sure how giving her safe sex talks will help much. Safe sex talks also need to be paired with making the resources available to young people. If you don't, they're still going to have sex, because they're still figuring out WTF is going on. She's never had a kid. She doesn't know exactly how hard that can be, especially for a minor. And you decided to make it harder for your temper tantrum. You have proven to your daughter to not share anything with you, because when she does you walk out on her. Just expect that by the time you're comfortable, you'll turn around and be like, hey, guess what? I'm here emotionally, and she'll be gone, until she's comfortable. She won't know when that might be. Hopefully never. It wasn't an accident though. They knew all about being safe and using condoms etc., but ran out and decided to risk it using the pull-out method, which is notoriously unreliable. I'd be mad at her too. If you don't want a baby and don't have the option there to make sure that doesn't happen, you don't have sex. It would be a whole different story if the birth control failed. I'm not making a judgment on it cause I am not getting into the silent rearming aspect etc., but I get why he's frustrated. They made a stupid decision. Sure, fair. But most people make stupid decisions. I know 40-year-olds who think pull-out method is perfectly fine. They're idiots, but goes to show that the human race has one brain cell to share between everyone. I promise, it's never with me. She made a very adult decision before she was ready to, but that does not give original poster the go-ahead to go and act the way he is. Frustration is fine. But what he is doing is not frustration. He is equating all of who his daughter is, will be, and has been to this one stupid decision. Which is a very damaging black and white view to have about it. Not only that, but his daughter is only 17, not even an adult yet, and he's holding a stupid mistake a teenager made over her for possibly the rest of her life. Her mistake is already going to drastically affect the rest of her life. If she's old enough to make that choice, then she's old enough to deal with whatever secondary consequences come as a result of that. I don't know, I feel like people totally infantilize older teenagers. 17 might not legally be an adult for another few months, but they're certainly not children and absolutely do understand that their actions have consequences. Again, I'm not saying I agree with original poster ignoring her or whatever, but she can't play the I'm grown up and do what I want. Then also play the poor little me, daddy is being mean. Guarantee she's going to expect their help when the baby comes too. It's going to affect more than just her and the boyfriend. I agree. In a few months both she and her boyfriend are deemed old enough by society to get a rifle in the hand and go fight in a war. But when it comes to using their heads and not get pregnant, accidents happen. Exactly. I feel like if she was 18 already, people would be arguing that she's a legal adult. But because she's only 17, it's like she's a child. It's a silly distinction. I see your point, but original poster isn't the butthole because he's mad or disappointed, which is a perfectly reasonable response. He's the butthole because 1, he's using the silent treatment as a punishment, which is immature and helps absolutely no one. 2, seems to have decided to just quit being a parent, which isn't an option. Yes, she effed up, rather spectacularly in fact, but she is still his child and he still needs to be a goddamn parent despite his feelings. Right now she needs to understand her options and what resources are available so she can make some tough decisions for the future, not get ignored and become so upset she's incapable of speech. Cool heads need to prevail here. As a health educator and a nurse, and a former 17-year-old, the stupid decision is being willing to have the talk but then not take her to the doctor for birth control. WTF. Condoms are not enough, especially for the youngest, most impulsive, least experienced demographic. I always advocate long-term birth control for young women. Set it and forget it. Mirena lasts years, has very few and rare side effects, and typical use is the same as perfect use, which is one of the most effective birth controls around. Beat that, daily pills, original poster, you're the butthole. Yep. As soon as I started dating, Mom took me to the doctor to discuss birth control options and figure out what would work best for me. I was super embarrassed about it and was like, Mom, I'm not even having sex. She just told me that it was okay, and I could choose to have sex with him or not whenever I wanted, but that it is hard to make good decisions in the heat of the moment, and this way I would be ready. Exactly. You don't send your kids off driving in a car with no lights or horn or seat belt. Passing the road test is not enough to be a safe driver. You have to give them the best chance possible to stay safe, no matter what. I'm glad your mom made it no big deal. Great job. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.